Sup peeps, Crypto Enigma here, welcome back to the channel baby, yeah! That's right gang, welcome back to Dark Legend Wuchang. In this video, I will absolutely be showing you how to cheese the Gluttonous Monstrosity using a method that I've decided to name the Matador method. And as the name would suggest, if you happen to pull this off, you're gonna be doing some Looney Tunes shit. Now, for the sake of clarity, I've decided to break this video down into 3 parts. So first I'm going to cover the equipment that you're going to need in order to pull this method off. Then I'm going to explain to you how this method works so that you can fully understand how to perform this method yourself. And finally, I'm going to play for you my entire fight uninterrupted so that you can see what this method looks like in practice. And so, without further ado, now, for this method, we're actually going to be using a magic build. So for your weapon, you're going to want to use the one-handed sword. And for your armor, you'll of course want to use the delicate armor set. Now, as you're about to see, I actually used consumable items in this video. And so if you're planning on following the steps in this video, then you're going to want to use the monkey pendant because it does increase the damage of your consumable items. However, you don't have to use items at all, as I will explain later in the video. Now, for your spells, the Infernal Flame spell is actually going to technically be necessary. You don't absolutely have to use it. You can also use this spell here with the daggers. However, you are not going to be dealing as much damage as you will with the Infernal Flame spell. So if you have it, definitely use that. Now for your items, now would be the time to bring any fire pots or niter fire pots that you've been collecting along the way. However, if you don't have any, then these can actually be purchased from the NPC salesman, or at the very least, I know that the fire pots can be, so go with those. As for your skill tree, in the elusive branch, you're going to want to unlock the first 2 nodes, then go down 2 nodes until you reach this one here, the fiery embers. And basically all this does is increase your fire damage, which is how we will mainly be damaging this boss. So this particular node here will be key for this strategy. You'll also want to head over to the one-handed sword branch and unlock all of the nodes that you see here, which will basically just increase your feathering and your skyborn might and all of that stuff. So get these nodes here if you can. Now, as for the fight itself, as in my previous video, I actually also figured out how to lock this boss into using the same attack repeatedly. Specifically, this lunge attack here and this one. Basically, what I found was that if you happen to be standing within a specific distance from the boss after every lunge attack, then she will just turn around and perform another lunge attack. Therefore, if you happen to stay within this specific distance throughout the fight, then it is actually possible to keep her from using any other attack except for these 2. And with this specific build, all you have to do then is simply dodge each one of these heavily telegraphed attacks and fire off a spell as you build up Skyborn Might with each successful dodge. Now, that may sound like a lot, and it might also look like a lot, but I promise you, it's a lot easier than it looks. And so I'm going to play for you now my entire uninterrupted fight so that you can see what this method looks like in practice, but then I'm going to explain just some final details so that you can fully understand how to perform this, such as when to dodge or where to stand. But without further ado, I give you the Matador method. And that was that, ladies and gentlemen, the Gluttonous Monstrosity cheese. Now, some final notes. First of all, before you even enter the arena, stand outside and wait until your Skyborn Might is fully charged. Then, as you enter, dodge forward to get slightly closer, then fire off your spell. Now, her first attack is going to be one of those two lunge attacks, and it can be one or the other, so you just have to be ready for them. However, in my case, you can see here that she's kind of like on her hands and knees, and so if you see her like this and she then stands up and kind of reaches out like you're seeing here, then you know she's about to perform this lunge attack here, where she jumps up toward you and does 2 swipe attacks as soon as she lands. So remember this, every time she does this attack, you have to dodge twice. Once for the attack itself, and again to move away from her. Then don't move, or at least not very far from where you are. If you did this correctly, then you should be standing within the correct distance that will make her turn around and want to charge you again. In other words, if you're standing too far, she will not do this, nor if you're standing too close. She will behave differently. If you're too close, she'll begin using other short-ranged attacks, and if you're too far, she'll behave differently, but she won't turn around like you see here. So again, if she jumps up toward you, dodge twice, once for her attack and again to move away from her. Then don't move too far from where you're standing. If you did it correctly, she will then immediately turn around and prepare her next lunge attack. And so then, if you see her stand up on her knees and cross her arms, then she's about to charge you very quickly, and this is actually the attack that we're looking for because it's the one that charges your Skyborn Might the quickest, and in my opinion it's the easier one to dodge, believe it or not. And so, in order to successfully dodge this attack, you just have to watch for the visual cue, which is this little swipe animation here. As soon as you see this little swipe animation, press the dodge button and you should successfully dodge this attack. However, let me say this, all you really have to do is just be in the middle of your dodge animation by the time she hits you. I know that sounds a little weird, but just kind of think of it that way. And it's a little bit weird to explain as well, but this is something that you can kind of just feel as you're playing. So when she's about to charge you, just press the dodge button and have her hit you while you're in the middle of your dodge animation, if that makes sense, and you should successfully dodge this attack. Now, when you successfully dodge this attack, try not to move at all. And the reason is that when she does this specific attack, her momentum carries her forward enough to place her at the correct distance she needs to be in to keep her AI stuck in this attack loop. So again, in order for this to work, all you basically have to do is stay within the specific distance that makes her want to repeatedly charge at you. And that's basically it. Then, just try to dodge each attack successfully, which is easier than it looks because of how telegraphed the attacks are. But with each successful dodge, you will build up Skyborn Might, which will then eventually allow you to use that fire spell.
Gotcha, bitch! Yeah!
Also, she tends to alternate between the two type of lunge attacks, so whenever she does one of them, expect her to do the other one immediately after. And again, she can begin the fight by using either one of them, so just watch for whichever one she uses and then expect her to use the other. Moreover, in order to apply the burn status effect on her, you have to hit her with the spell 3 times, and if you actually manage to do it, then you'll actually also stun her, as you saw me do multiple times in the video. And finally, when she enters her second phase, she's going to scream like this. However, if you dodge into it, it'll actually count as you dodging an attack, and if you have enough Skyborn Might, then you can use this opportunity to fire off one last spell before you spam her with consumables, which by the way you don't actually have to use. However, if you're not using consumables, then the second that she begins her second phase, run up to her and just go ham. Cause as much damage as you possibly can with your strongest possible weapon, because from the moment where she enters her second phase to the point where she actually begins attacking you, it's like a whole ass minute. I don't know why, but this is it's a ridiculously long animation, her transition into her second phase. She'll literally just sit there for like a good 5-6 seconds and just stare at you after she's done, you know, entering the phase. So just attack her as much as you possibly can, and then when she gets up and actually begins to attack you, then just continue the process. Move away from her, get her to charge at you, and then you'll get her AI stuck in the same loop. And it's as easy as that. Just replay the video from that point forward. But with that being said, thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you made it to the end of this video, I absolutely appreciate you, and I cannot stress that enough. But for what it's worth, thank you for watching, and if you happen to enjoy this video, then you may enjoy some of my other content as well, so do feel free to check that out if you so wish to. But again, with that being said, thank you for watching, and I love you, baby.